people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you lie down, yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego die the political, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. This one not day off in mind, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he dey hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don't come, oh yo yo.
Hello there. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you again from wherever you are joining us tonight. It is Mayegun Live. Thank you so much for joining me again on the prime time of Mayegun's Diary Politico tonight. Please read the caption of the broadcast. I hope you have already. At the description as well. If you haven't, please do. Share the broadcast to invite your friends and not so friendly friends. And tell them that Mayegun today, but afterward, like the broadcasts. If Number and his gang, they are about to carry you, Bobo. They are about to carry you another Mugu. I will be one of those to raise the alarm anyway. So tonight we are looking at a proposal that we have been told has been handed over to Akpabiole. Tifnumbu is about to do something, take advantage of the yearnings of the people to get his own way for something that you must be aware of. The journalism sounded so nice. In fact, some group of misguided, ignorant northerners are already discussing regionalism because they think Tifnumbu is bringing regionalism. But there is more. I have a copy. And we shall read through everything tonight. Today. So good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are joining us from tonight. Thank you. This is Mayegun, and this is live. For those who are watching it live, it's almost the same though, even if you are not watching it live. Thank you so much for joining me. And the news out there after Tifnumbu in collaboration with Tajuddin Abbas and Akpabiole, they have managed to now return Nigeria back to the old national anthem. That is just the beginning. In fact, there is more from where that came from. All of these are somehow an avenue for a power monger to take the entire country on a ride, a disastrous one, to make a mess of a solution that generations felt was the needed solution as the last resort before Nigeria finally scattered. They have been shouting restructuring. The restructuring of Nigeria that people have been asking is that of where everyone from every part of Nigeria is invited to the table, represented, and they have to discuss if they still want to be part of this contraption or not. Okay? Memorandum of understandings, as well as so many other articles of, nationhood or being part of a nation were to be drafted by the participating countries, nations. We are people of different nations before we're forced together to form this contraption. Now, some men put together a constitution which is so fake, and they called it the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and they said, we the people, remember? So people say, restructure this place and let everybody control their own affairs. That will reduce the tension, reduce the power at the center. What they use a verse? No, not diverse. Like, they said, let the power reside with the people at the local level instead of making one person like a god in a country like that. That's what their fake 1999 constitution did. So most of the time they have been trying to kind of patch the Decree 24, the military Decree 24. Jonathan even organized a national confab so as to kind of pave the way for a possible new people's constitution in Nigeria, where everyone who is going to be still be part of that Nigeria will be genuinely represented in a constitution that everybody actually writes. But he didn't have the chance. He too failed to implement the resolution of that confab. He said, I would implement it after after the election, hoping that he was going to be the president beyond 2015. Since it wasn't, that was the end of that confab. Tifnumbu and gang, they are now about to hijack a bill that has, sort of a proposal that has been in the public domain but never really gained traction until now. It's been in the public domain since 2021. But now, Tifnumbu and his gang, they have now managed to get it into the National Assembly. And according to them, it seems so fine. But there are many things inside I think you should know. So it is 18-page proposal. This is what they believe could actually replace the 1999 Constitution. So this is what Tifnumbu want to do with this National Assembly, right? Any amendment to the Constitution, they are the ones allowed to make that amendment by raising a bill. That's what their current 1999 Constitution gives them power to do. They are the only ones who can amend that trashy nonsense, right? So Tifnumbu is now going to use them since he has managed to raise a bill that reversed the national anthem. And all people they said they used that to test the water to see how you're going to react. But it seems that except for people mumbling, people are not really, they don't really give a damn. They don't care. So the next stage now is to start what they call the restructuring. But they won't call it restructuring. They're going to call it a constitutional sort of amendment or something. But it's not going to be constitutional amendment. I don't know what it is going to be yet. But they are very confident that they could possibly smuggle a power extension, right, into your chamber, make it law. All right, but you will think, well, it's going to be regionalism, kind of, right? Anyway, let me show you. Here is the copy of that proposal. Okay. Like I said, it's in the public domain, and you can lay your hand on that if you want. And for the sake of us watching right now, okay, I will leave the copy in the comments if you are interested in going through it yourself, okay? So I'll leave a copy in the comments section for you. That's the copy, that's the link to this document. But let's take a look at it together. So it is titled, I'm going to read almost everything though. So this may take us like the next 40 minutes. Then I'll kind of like summarize enough to have a chat around it. But because you need to see what these guys are putting together. All right. And it is not what it is, or what it appears to, to be, or what they want you to think it is. I mean, want you to think it's us, right? So hang on, I think I'll leave it on the screen so that everybody can read too. Okay. A moment. Here, part one. Okay, let's start from the start. A bill for an act to substitute. Substitute means this is going to be the new constitution. The other things can be added as well. But you see that this constitution, this one, is going to replace the Decree 24. They actually call it Decree 24. And it's going to be easily, a lot of you are going to be sold on this. Okay. Well, I hope you'll be able to see through the fraud too. All right. What the sound by the fancy words of what a lot of us have been using for years now were well sort of used in this document. So they said a bill for an act to substitute the annexure rather to Decree 24 of 1999 with a new governance model for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Tinubu will sell this to you that, with all of us have been saying the military constitution for 25 years, civilians couldn't do away and trash it and burn it and let the people write their own constitution, right? Well, Tinubu is about to write you one. So pay attention. So it said this act may be cited as the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, New Governance Model for Nigeria, Act 2024, enacted by the National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's already been prepared as if to say, okay, anyway, it is now in the National Assembly. So preliminaries, according to the said, part one, whereas Nigeria, its peoples and government have been governed under Decree 24 of 1999 Constitution that was handed down by the then military government without the express consent of the people, despite the preamble of we, the people. Whereas the said Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, as amended, is not autochthonous, as it does not evolve from the deliberations and consensus of the Nigerian people. Whereas the peoples of Nigeria now desire and effectively demand for a change to a constitution based on federal regional system of government. Fancy word. So I hope that will get your attention. Regional system of government. Fancy. Now, whereas the federal and regional governments are to operate within the provisions of this constitution, it is within the discretion of the ethnic blocks within the states that constitutes a given region to aggregate or disaggregate as provinces, divisions, and districts, while being in control of their affairs without let or hindrance at whatever level of governance. Whereas the 1999 Constitution as amended is a schedule of a military decree now deemed to be an act of the National Assembly for which the National Assembly have the powers to amend and or abrogate as expedient. Whereas the National Assembly, where so necessary and expedient, can invoke the doctrine of necessity to resolve any point of law for the good governance of the country, Nigeria. Part 2, substitution clause 1. Therefore, the National Assembly do hereby invoke its inherent powers to expunge the schedule attached to Decree 24 of 1999, often referred to as 1999 Constitution as amended from the decree, which is now deemed to be an act of the National Assembly to which the National Assembly have the powers to do so, to so do, and replace them with a new governance model for Nigeria, effective not later than October 1, 2024. So this is practically like if all this drama they are trying works out, right? Then Nigeria shouldn't have governors and all of these guys in office anymore from October 1st. Nigeria will have a regional system, but continue listening, okay? So 2, this amendment is subject to a yes or no vote in a referendum by the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So for the first time, these guys are mentioning referendum. So that means they will have to put referendum in their plan too, Abi. Continue listening. Part 3, stipulations for federal administration. So here is the governance structure that Tifnumbu and his gang are proposing for Nigeria now. So listen, it's not different from this, this quasi-military or unitary Decree 24 of 1999. But again, continue to listen. So part 3 and 3.1, that is a governance structure. 1, Nigeria shall be a federation comprising of regional territories and a federal capital territory, and shall be a republic to be known by the name of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. 2, the territorial jurisdiction of Nigeria shall comprise the territory of the regional members of the federation, and its boundaries shall be as determined by international agreements. 3.2, basis of the federation. Every ethnic nationality and people in Nigeria has an unconstitutional right to self-determination within here the alienated territories. Are you listening? So every ethnic nationality and the people in Nigeria has an unconditional right to self-determination within here the alienated territories. 2, the sovereignty, powers, and authority to formulate the articles of association towards any form of the central government of Nigeria at any other time shall lie jointly and severally with all the ethnic nationalities occupying their respective territories. 3, every ethnic nationality and the people in Nigeria has the right to a full measure of self-government, which includes the right to establish institutions of government in the territory that it inhabits and to equitable representation in the federal and regional governments. 4, a ethnic nationality or people for the purpose of this constitution is a group of people who have or share large measure of a common culture and similar customs, mutual intelligibility of language, belief in a common or related identities, a common psychological makeup, and who inhabit an identifiable, predominantly contiguous territories. So 3.2, federating regions. 1, the regional territories of Nigeria shall comprise freely associating peoples of ethnic nationalities, ethnic subnationalities, and or clans in the contiguous territories as would be self-determined and constituted within 6 calendar months based on the processes prescribed herein. 2. There shall be no artificially prescribed members of regions, as would foreclose the right of the people that desire to organize themselves as an autonomous subnational member of the Nigerian states, provided that absolute cognizance shall be accorded to the prime factors of independent viability and self-sustenance as an entity. 3. The regional members and constituent units thereof shall produce their own constitutions, applying the tenet of federalism and self-determination, and register it with the National Assembly for documentation and reference purposes only. 4. The regional territories and constituent units may have their names, identities, and any other instruments of recognition changed as may be necessary, and shall determine the details thereof through their respective legislatures. Whatever names and or nomenclature of identity adopted by the respective regional legislatures at whatever time as may be expedient shall be deemed to have been reflected in the federal constitution. 5. The regional territories and constituent units thereof shall organize themselves towards the efficient harnessing of all potential resources in pursuant to the full development as a political and economic force to be reckoned with as member of the Nigerian Federation. 6. The administrative operations and interregional coordination, the federal government shall maintain an office only in the federal cities of the regional territories. And 3.3. Federal Capital Territory. 1. The Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, shall be the capital of the Federation and seat of the government of the Federation. 2. The ownership of all lands comprised in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, shall vest in the federal government of Nigeria. So, Gbagi people, the Gbagi people in Abuja, they would have to forgo their land, Abi. So what is their own right in the new regional system that they are building, right? So the Gbagi people will forfeit their land, but all of us, the rest of us can keep our land, right? Now, you need to begin to now pay attention to some of these things now, okay? I mean, they may be sounding so nice to you. The devil is in the detail. Do you understand? So yeah, number 2. Then number 3, the provisions of this constitution shall apply to the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, as if it were one of the states in a region of the Federation. And accordingly, A, all legislative powers are vested in the National Assembly. B, all the executive and administrative powers are vested in the Federal Executive Council. C, all judicial powers are vested in the Federal Judicial Service Commission. D, for the purposes of representation into the National Assembly, the Federal Capital Territory shall constitute only one federal constituency. E, the Prime Minister may appoint for the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, a minister who shall exercise such powers and perform such functions as may be delegated to him by the Prime Minister from time to time. The appointment shall be subject to confirmation by the National Assembly. Then 3.4. So that is section 3, part 4, something. I don't know how they pronounce that or how they kind of named that. But the federal governance. 1. A Republic of Nigeria comprises the federal and regional territorial governments only. So there is no state, there will be no more states. With this proposal, by October 2024, there will be no more governors. There will be no more states. If all of this they are proposing, yeah? Well, let's continue. So, our constitution shall therefore specify and embody only governance relationship between the federal and regional administration. 2. All powers not given expressly to the federal government alone or concurrently to the federal government and the regions are hereby reserved to the regions. The Federal Executive Council shall comprise single-digit number of members Government ministries shall be rationalized and configured in compliance with this stipulation. 5. All other subordinate appointments and designation below ministers shall be made only from the ranks of civil servants with permanent tenure in the public service. 5. The Federal Executive Council and its members shall rely entirely on the civil service and civil servants for all technical advice and support, thereby precluding the proliferation of any other parallel bureaucracy in the form of advisors. 6. All subsisting federal MDAs are to be rationalized in favor of the regions and in conformity with the legislative list of functions given in the appropriate schedule. A regional territory shall inherit associated assets and liabilities. 3.5. The President. The President of the Nigerian Federation is the head of the nation state. 2. The Prime Minister acting through the National Assembly shall nominate the candidates for President. 3. The nominee shall be elected President if the National Assembly approves his candidacy by a 2/3 majority vote of all elected members. 4. A member of the National Assembly shall vacate his seat if elected President. 5. The term of office of the President shall be 6 years. No person shall be elected president for more than 2 terms. 3.6. Powers and functions of the President. 1. He shall proclaim and open the session of the National Assembly at the commencement of their annual session. 2. President shall hold and exercise executive powers as conferred on the Prime Minister in a situation where there is hung assembly and or where the position of the Prime Minister and his deputy are compromised and or where there is state of emergency in the country. 3. He shall proclaim in the Federal Gazette laws and international agreements approved by the National Assembly in accordance with the Constitution. 4. He shall, upon recommendation by the Prime Minister, appoint ambassadors and other envoys to represent the country abroad. 5. He shall receive the credentials of foreign ambassadors and special envoys. 6. He shall award medals, prizes, and gifts in accordance with conditions and procedures established by law. 7. He shall, upon recommendation by the Prime Minister in accordance with law, grant high military titles. 8. He shall, in accordance with conditions and procedures established by law, grant pardon. Then 3.7. Federal Executive Council. 1. The highest executive powers of the federal government are vested in the Prime Minister, acting in concert with the Council of Ministers. 2. The Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers are responsible to the National Assembly. In the exercise of state functions, members of the Council of Ministers are collectively responsible for the decisions they make as a body. 3. Unless otherwise provided in this Constitution, the term of office of the Prime Minister is for the duration of the mandate of the National Assembly. 4. The Prime Minister shall be selected from among members of the National Assembly. 5. Power of government shall be assumed by the political party or a coalition of political parties that constitute a majority in the National Assembly. Chapter 3.8. The Prime Minister, in concert with the Council of Ministers. 1. The Prime Minister is the Chief Executive, the Chairman of the Council of Ministers, and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria. 2. Subject to the provisions of this Constitution, the executive powers of the Federation shall be vested in the Prime Minister in Council and may, subject as aforesaid, and to the provisions of any law made by the National Assembly, be expressed by him either directly or through the Deputy Prime Minister and ministers of the government of the Federation or officers in the public service of the Federation. 3. The Prime Minister shall submit for approval to the National Assembly nominees for ministerial posts only from amongst its members who possess the requisite qualifications and cognate experience for the ministries. 4, there shall be a council of ministers whose function shall be to work with the Prime Minister in the running of the government and in all affairs of the Federation. 5, the Council of Ministers shall consist of the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, and the ministers as approved by the National Assembly. The body shall comprise and be limited to a single-digit number of members. Government ministries shall be rationalized and configured in compliance with this stipulation. 6, an increase beyond the single-digit stipulation must be made only by a special request by the Prime Minister for approval by a resolution of the National Assembly through a vote of not less than 4/5 of all elected members. 7, approval of